but, I mean, those are the Marine Corps colors, the
Yes,
yellow and orange.
Absolutely. And then with the red trim, Jamel Johnson. Now it's Coleman leading the series 1-0. Johnson was able to get Coleman put down the first, and then in the second, Coleman got Johnson put down, got a gut, and then the big four to finish it off.
Dare I say Ellis Coleman went turbo team and just broke the match wide open. It was impressive work.
Coleman's about
serious hand fighting here at the edge.
He's about to be part of the turbo team here for, I believe, the 6th time in his career. We'll see if we can get that counted up.
Coleman taking ground from Johnson. Johnson basically just trying to hang in there at this point. Good aggressive start with the hand fighting by Ellis Coleman. Now he's loading up an underhook, looking for that second arm. Looking for his lock of choice.
So you see the ref pointing at red as Coleman digs an underhook on the left side, an underhook on the right side. Johnson trying to clear out here, but it's Coleman holding center, and it will be Coleman taking the 1-0 lead. 1:52 remaining in this first period.
You could tell the way Coleman came out with the heavy hands and in the hand fighting, and Johnson was playing more defense, that this was a pretty obvious call to put Johnson down on the mat first. Coleman covers, and we get some parterre action. Ellis Coleman again with those ridiculous long arm span. He's able to go elbow to elbow at 67 kilos. That makes life miserable for the guy on bottom. Trying to get a gut to the left, doesn't go. Second attempt, popping the hips. And there's 2. And calls from the corner to say Johnson is crawling out of bounds. Looking for a lift. Coleman trying to step and clear the legs. He's got it loaded up. It's slipping though, it's a low gut. There's the toss. We're going to get 2, just 2, because Johnson did not land in danger, but he did expose.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the importance of parterre and Greco-Roman. 12 points in this series for Ellis Coleman.
Man, would you say guts have become a thing here at Final
I would
X?
say guts have become a thing this year. Ellis Coleman looking to make his 4th senior world team, plus his 2012 Olympic spot.
That's right.
So
he
5
was
times representing the USA.
An Olympian by way of the flying squirrel, which he famously hit, made lots of rounds in the early days of social media and viral clips.
And I gave him an opportunity to say, hey, you know, for those people who maybe only remember you from the flying squirrel, you know, what would you say to this now more mature, right? He's got a couple kids now.
That's right.
He's like, oh, no, I'm still the flying squirrel.
That's
So,
right.
I own that.
Twitter handle, the flying squirrel. It's not something you can go to the well too often to hit, but when it does land, as it did when Coleman needed it back in 2012, it sure looks fun.
For the Marine Corps, right, they still get a guy on the world team in John Stefanowicz. They're going to have more opportunities at Final X. Lincoln, Coleman here maybe going to get a chance to finish it off. 8 seconds remaining, walking him towards the edge.
And Johnson wanting no part in this next action. In danger of giving up another passivity or negative wrestling penalty.
So obviously 3 minutes left here for Jamel Johnson. But again, the Marine Corps has to be very pleased with their performance, getting 2 guys to Final X Rutgers. And
Final X Lincoln on your board right there.
How about let's go to Final X Lincoln. You and I will once again be calling the first session there. For those of us watching right now on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, that'll be the same way you can watch session 1 at Lincoln on June 15th. But then again, you're going to need that Flow Pro membership to watch the night session, the 6 p.m. session tonight, and the 6 p.m. session for Final X Lincoln.
Do yourself a favor. That membership is good all year long, and you get all the great wrestling content that comes with it. I hope you will consider it. In the meantime, consider paying attention here to the center of the mat. Coleman pounces on Johnson, but that was a arm throw slip. So that is what the white paddles you see by the judge and chairman on the side of the mat. There are 3 officials working every international UWW match.
And by the way, great job by Johnson on the Final X socks. Just noticing that now.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, good call.
The way that obviously strength is so important in wrestling, right? The way it plays out in Greco, the ability to hold center, right, and then kind of march guys towards the edge, that's where you're really seeing the difference right now in Coleman and Johnson. Is Johnson's going to have a hard time getting Coleman put down here, even clearing through his ties to get the offense of his own. So Coleman He's skinny, taller guy, but a lot of power.
He's able to get the leverage, the torque, in the positions with those long limbs. There are games of inches out there, and Greco is a game of millimeters and of grams of weight being pushed in mass in different positions. It just takes a tiny little change or an anticipation of where the weight is going to be of your opponent, on which heel, on which hip, and that could be the difference maker. 1:45 to go in this final period of this match. It could be the final period of Jamel Johnson's Final X experience. Ellis Coleman keeping the pressure on, continues to take ground, and you don't see it often, but Johnson's going to go down on the mat for the second time. Gives up his second passivity point, and Coleman gets another shot at parterre and a shot to end this with 2 more points. They'll have the 8-0 tech.
And kind of similar. Now, look, I was talking to Ellis Coleman and Kamal Bey yesterday, right? Both Chicago guys, both RPF guys. Kamal's like, hey, 4 throws, I'm out of here. Ellis is like, I'll get 6 gut wrenches and out of here. So not quite according to plan, but pretty close here. And if he gets it, he'll finish it off with an 8-0 tech. Remember, the tech is 8 in Greco, 10 in freestyle. Now maybe looking to go to a lift here.
Johnson fighting for his life. You see him grimacing there. He knows 1 turn, and that's it. And he will live to fight for potentially another 1:08 seconds.
And you hate to talk about moral victories when you're trying to fight for a world team, but a little bit of a moral victory there, not giving up the turn for Jamel. So even making those micro adjustments and those progressions in the match.
Yeah. And it's best 2 out of 3, and that first match wasn't that long ago. So endurance, guys are used to wrestling in tournaments, but rarely do they have the final toughest match like that back-to-back, depending on the tournament. But so endurance and lung capacity, very much a factor here. Coleman does not seem to be affected. He continues to hold center without much difficulty. Johnson really hasn't threatened very much.
So looking like it'll be the final Greco match of the morning session for us. Joe Rao getting a world team member for Titan Mercury. John Stefanowicz getting a world team member for the U.S. Marine Corps. And now, after Max Nowry just won the 55-kilo world team spot, it appears as though Ellis Coleman will get a second world team member for the world-class athlete program, as he is up 6-0 with 10 seconds remaining over Jamel Johnson.
Johnson pushing in. He's not giving up. He's not going down without a fight, but Coleman built too big of a lead for Johnson to overcome, and that'll do it. Great fight, but Ellis Coleman, impressive display. He's got some skills. Hopefully that gut wrench is going to be working in his favor in Kazakhstan, because he's a guy that can go deep